Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Harold Campos and today I will be speaking about the general availability of the Azure Logic Apps rules engine. The Logic Apps rules engine is a rules inference engine that has been available for many years with the BizTalk server product, and that we have incorporated into Logic Apps, and we have given the ability to run in the Logic Apps engine with its own runtime, which makes it an ideal case for these customers who are trying to migrate from BizTalk server and those who are interested in using rules for governance of their cloud and AI workloads. And I'm gonna get to the details and show an example on how to do that. It has a number of components. It has a composer. It uses facts. It can create vocabularies. It has conditions, actions, and it also provides prioritization. It has a lot of advanced features like forward chaining abilities to be able to reassess rules on the fly, which is one of the reasons why the rules engine solution is great for scenarios where you have to provide governance, right? So if you were, for instance, if you were to create imagine that you have a piece of data and you have to act upon a specific condition on this data. But then you apply change to this data, but then after you apply a change to this data, and then after the change has been applied, then it's subject to another rule. So then imagine doing that through code. That will be a lot of work or a lot of complexity. So that's exactly what the rules engine abstracts you from doing, right? So that it will help you to avoid creating very complex code to just manage the execution of specific instructions upon existing data. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the rules engine for those of you who are not very familiar with it. But this feature starts with a composer. This composer is a Windows application that allows you, it's a fairly simple application that allows you to create rule sets. And these rule sets are sets of rules. And they can be uploaded into a Logic app. Hence, it can be shared across multiple workflows for you to use in the designer, in the Logic Apps designer. One important element, we'll talk about it soon, but something that I wanted to show you is a mapping between what an actual semantics of a rule is and what are the elements in the rules engine. Let's say that we have this rule that is says if the amount purchased is larger than $1,000, they give the customer a 10% discount. A rule has three elements. It has facts, conditions, and actions. Facts, data, conditions. The conditions can be true or false expressions with predicates. These predicates, they can be larger than, equals, and many others. And actions that are basically initiated when a rule condition is met. So then you have the fact, that is the data, the condition, and the action. And the fact, today, it can be an XML file or a .NET class. You may be wondering why not JSON or why not DB facts as with BizTalk server in the past. With the move of these features to the cloud, we had to rethought about the approach of doing rules, right? So for DB facts, for instance, there is a lot of transactionality that occurs when you open a connection to the data and you bring it in memory and then you do work on it. So that's why you have to rethink the approach of it, and that's what we are doing, right? Whether we're going to keep the concept of a DB fact or we're going to incorporate a JSON fact, that's something that we are also keen in hearing from you. I will be providing a link where you can provide some feedback, and I hope you can do that once you have tried this feature that is generally available now. So then, once you have this rule, then you can have multiple rules, and then those multiple rules, they can make a rule set that contains a logical grouping of rules. One key reason why we decided to incorporate the BRE in Logic Apps was because it's a feature from BizTalk. right? It's a feature that was originated in BizTalk. So then for these customers who are migrating from BizTalk server to Logic Apps, it's ideal because they can leverage a lot of the artifacts that they have, right? All of the policies, as long as they don't include dbFacts today, they are fully supported, right? Because we support XML and .NET facts, as I said. Policies no longer exist, so you should export each policy individually, right? And as dbFacts are not supported, you need to remove them from your policies or refactor them. But then, other than that, then you can use them. In Logic Apps. There is a deployment wizard, the rules engine deployment wizard in BizTalk that allows you to connect to the database that hosts the BRE artifacts and then export them. And that's something that you can reuse from the composer. Today, you can create rules projects in VS Code. You should create a Logic Apps workspace and then a Logic App with Rules Engine project. This was in preview for a while, but we've done a lot of testing, so we have made some improvements, some changes in the code template that is incorporated in the Rules Engine project. If you find any gap, let us know, please, through the survey as well. Once you have defined your rule sets, you upload them into the rules directory, and a sample is provided in the project template to begin your rules development. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a demo that I've put together to show how this works. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the composer. What I've done is I've taken the composer and I have created a fairly simple set of rules that rely on one fact. This fact is called backend, and basically it's a file that has information about customer ID, some income, debt, credit, rate, cross-sell information, cross-sell for cross-selling a product, recommending a product, and internal results. And I'll tell you more about the scenario in a bit, but this is an XML fact, and this XML fact allows me to create rules in the conditions, right, and actions, and then group them here in rule sets. So as you can see, it's fairly straightforward, and they are fairly powerful as well, because in the conditions you have multiple alternatives. You have all of the logical operators, and then you have a number of predicates available, and also you have what we call the vocabularies, and the vocabularies come with functions, add, assert, clear, day of the week, predefine them, and if you feel that there is something that is missing, then you can create your own class that does implement a business logic and then just incorporate it here to the vocabularies. So then it's extensible. You can do all of that. Going back to this example, you see that I have created a number of rules. One that's called credit higher than 5,000. That the conditions are if the backend root debt which is this one, this fact here, is less than 1,000, then and the backend root credit is greater than or equal to 5,000, then set the rate to 2%, right? And then results, thank you for being our customer, we will send you a bottle of wine or beer or anything. And then update, which basically will kick off the other rules as well if there is an update that can affect the execution of other rules. So then you see that there are other rules that are fairly similar. I'm not going to go through the details of each one of them, but they are available and they are applicable to the scenario that I'm going to be presenting in a bit. Now you see something that I want to call out is this field priority, right? Priority 0 doesn't necessarily mean that it's the highest priority. In this particular case, if I change this to 10, that means that this rule has a highest priority, so it will get executed first. And we have to be careful with when doing so, because in some cases where we feel that the data that will be subject to two rules and then we want to set the priority, make sure that you set the priority to the actual one that you want to be executed first, not to the value that you want to see, because remember, you have first, it writes a value, and then you have the second one, it writes another value, so then the value that you will end up seeing is the second one. And it's just a recommendation. So then if you have these rules will be saved in an XML file, and that XML file is the one that has to be available in in the portal. But before getting into the portal, I wanted to show you the VS Code experience, right? So when I go to VS Code and I create a new Logic Apps workspace, it's going to ask me for information about location and everything, and then in the end, it's going to ask me for a lot of information to create my rules project. This is the rules project that I created. It has two components. It has the actual Logic App project, and it has a function project. As I mentioned in my previous video on the topic, we are using the function-based experience for now, right? So then that means that I have a function that does the work of calling the rules engine runtime, and for that we have this run rules method that will be accepting, in this case, three parameters: the rule set, name, the document type, and the input XML. I have explained this, and there's documentation for this. I'm not going to drill down on this, but basically, this is the part where you will be sending the data, which is the fact, right, and the rule set, which is what I just shown you in the composer, right. So then it will subject the fact to the execution of these rules, and this is the Logic Apps project, where you can see the workflow, right? And then once you are done with the definition of your workflow, and as I said, the first thing that you do here is you create all of your artifacts, your connectors and everything. This will you can deploy this to Azure, right? So you will deploy this to Azure, and then once it's deployed, then you can do more work on it. You can interact with it in the cloud and such. Now let me get back to the composer. So then, as a reminder, so I have a composer. It's called validation, the rule set, and then I have a number of rules, right? My fact is called backend, and it's an XSD file. So if I go now to the portal, I'll show you that I have this Logic app that has schemas, maps, assemblies, and rules. We have recently added this rules directory here, right? So you can use it to upload your rule set, right? Which is the file that will be generated when you save this rule set. So this is the file that you upload here. In my case, it's called validation, and originally if I've had this validation before. When my VS Code project was created, then it will have been deployed with it, but I created afterwards, so then I had to upload it manually, and you upload it via upload here, right, a rule. So then now what I do is I go to the workflow that I deployed, which is the one that you saw. I have removed a couple of actions, but it's the same. It's called SF rules, and this SF rules has two more actions. I added two more actions, one that is called compose XML with a schema, and another one that is called parse XML with a schema. This is the call to local rules. This is the value of the rule set name, which is validation, and this is the fact backend, right? And the only thing that I'm doing here is, for the fact, I'm just creating here a JSON schema that will resemble the values that I'm expecting in the call to the function, right? So then you see cost ID, income, debt, credit rate, cross sell, and in results. And then what I do is I use the compose XML with a schema. I pass an schema, an XSD file that reflects exactly the structure that I want to use in the rules engine for the fact, right, which is called backend, right? And that XSD file then is the one that I use to pass information and to create an XML that will be used in the rules engine. As I said, we support the XML and .NET framework, but as we are providing all of these natively in the composer, then you can work with any kind of data as long as you convert it to using an XSD to XML and then pass it to the rules engine and then get it back. We are working on a simpler experience. We are gonna be consolidating all of this, but I don't want to share more about that because that's still in the works. So this is a fairly straightforward workflow, right? So I mean, you send the rule set, you send the data, but what is the scenario that we have in mind for this to show how this works? This is our new feature, the agent loop workflow, or the workflow loop, or the agent loop workflow in Logic Apps that we just announced days ago, right? And basically, we have this autonomous agent that what does is it manages a business, right? And it determines that it has the ability to provide credits. Now, this is AI, right? So then in the end, I write a system instructions or a prompt or a system prompt. And then when I do that, I'm relying 100% on AI, on the model to provide what I'm expecting, right? And of course, I'm supported by a number of tools, and each one of these tools, they have workflows that will go to and execute a number of things in different systems. Now, what I've done is I've added one more tool for this agent loop that it's called internal rules and cross-sell. And this is the rules engine, right? So what I'm doing is the workflow that I created for the rules engine has been incorporated in the agent loop. So then it can set the guardrails, or it can set the governance, or it can set the parameters that I want to set fixed for the model to make some decisions. So if I ask the model to make a decision and to grant a credit, and I ask the model to decide a credit amount, so that it can come back to me with a $5,000 credit or with a $50,000 credit, right? So that can happen, or it can hallucinate a situation. So that for me to avoid that, I decided to use the rules engine, which it's ideal for these circumstances because, yes, while you can implement guardrails with other tools and with other workflows and such, the rules engine gives you the ability to, as I said, re-evaluate rules on the fly, right? And to readapt in a deterministic manner. So in other words, it will set and it will adapt using deterministic rules that you have provided. Now let's run this for this user key makers. Let's run with payload. So then we'll let the agent work, but in the meantime, just a reminder that we have this workflow that is using the rules engine, and I expect all of the rules and all of the information is coming from the agent using the model. Then it will abide by these rules, and these rules will help in providing the governance and the internal criteria for which all of these credit approval or rejection will occur, right? So then this is exactly what is not only grounding, but is setting the success for the company, because it will make sure that the model provides and makes realistic decisions, and it doesn't introduce hallucinations. So now let's take a look to how is the model progressing, right? So as a reminder, we have this agent that will determine whether it has to provide a credit or not. I think it finished already. Let's finish real quick. Okay, so let's see what. Okay, so let's refresh this to see the chat. Okay, so let's go to see what got approved in the end. Let's go to internal rules and cross-sell, and we will see that. Okay, so this is the customer analysis and credit approval report. We have the name of the person, key makers. It captures all of this information from external systems, company Northwind, monthly debt, this monthly income, $41,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money, exactly. Capture number of accounts. It did a lot of work, but then let's focus on this, right? So it set the interest rate and the compliance approved credit amount in $5,000 and interest rate in 2%. Internal remarks: good financial profile with manageable debt. Thank you for being our customer. We will send you a bottle of wine. You are pre-approved for a Norwind Platinum Logic Apps credit card, and it has been successfully added to Norwind as a new customer. And this is exactly what I was expecting for the rules engine to do, right? Because all of these rules in the composer that I defined in the composer in a matter of minutes, right? They have been uploaded and they have been made available in the Logic App, so then the runtime can evaluate their execution, right? As a reminder, this is one of the rules that got executed, and then as a result, the rate was set in 2, and then we will send you a bottle of wine. But then the rest of the work is done by the agent, right? And this is exactly what we're expecting for the rules engine to do. I hope you have enjoyed this part of the demonstration. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you just a couple of slides. One, the link where you can provide feedback. If you can do that, that would be fantastic. And the other thing is key takeaways: you can build richer AI workloads with Logic Apps and the rules engine. You can use your BizTalk VR implementations with Logic Apps. You can create governance. You can provide governance to your integration solutions in the cloud or hybrid, and you can upload business rules without disrupting your applications. Again, thanks a lot for your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. I mean, you can leave a comment on the video. You can write in the blog comment as well, because I will be adding this video to the blog as well. And enjoy the rules engine, and let me know what you thought about it. Okay, thank you.